Jacqueline Sinfield, the ADD coach for adults and also author of the book Untapped Brilliance, How to Reach Your Full Potential as an Adult with ADHD. So today I wanted to make a quick video all about worry, because when you have ADHD, worry is probably a huge part of your life. The ADD brain is particularly susceptible to worry because of two things. One, you're very creative, so you're going to be able to conjure up all sorts of different scenarios, and then because your brain's very active, it goes on and on and on, so you can kind of scare yourself with all these worries. So I am a lifelong worrier. I remember being worried as far back as when I was 8, and when I was 8 I would lie in bed worrying about not being able to spell words because I was dyslexic but didn't know that at the time. So over the years it got worse, I would say, until I read this life-changing book, and How to Stop Worry and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. And this was the first self-help book that I ever read, and like I said, it was life-changing. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend it. But today I'm going to give you 3 tips, and so if you don't like to read, you don't need to read the book. There's a brilliant quote, and it says, "Worry doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrow, it empties the day of its strength." And I have that plastered around various different places in my office because it's a really good quote to remember. And one of the tips in this book is to live in day-tight compartments. So very similar to what as the quote says, don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Definitely don't think about what happened in the past. Just live today as it is. And when you start to do that, pretty much all of your worries go. There will be a small percentage of your worries that are related to the day in hand, but when you live in a day-tight compartment, most of your worries go. So that's one tip. The next one is, when you've got a worry or a host of worries, get a big piece of paper, and on one side write down all your worries, and then on the other side write down the actions that you can take related to that worry. So it might be that you need to make a phone call, or do some research about a particular topic. Whatever it is, write it down as the things that you can do. Some worries you're not going to be able to take any actions at all, and that's okay, but do a big brainstorm and see if there's any. But some, there's not going to be anything, it's outside your control, so just leave that blank. Then if you start to take action on the things that you can do, the other things that you can't do sort of take care of themselves. So now I've done enough of these worry sheets to know that everything's going to be okay, because it's always okay, but it doesn't feel like that at the time. The things that you're not able to take action on get resolved, and if you look at this piece of paper within 48 hours of writing down your worry list, you won't be worried about any of those things. Keep these lists because they do act as a really nice history of your worries, and then as you start to worry, you're like, okay, I'll write it down, but I know I won't need to worry about this. It's a huge relief. So then the third thing is worrying. Besides being a natural trait of having ADHD, one of the things that worries hate the most is realism. So if you're ever worried about something and you've done the day-tight compartment thing, you've done this worry list, the other thing you can do is do a bit of research. And facts combat worries. So if you're worried about going in an aeroplane, then you could do some research about how often it really is likely to have a crash, or just whatever it is. But research and information empowers you, and it fights worries head on. So they are my 3 great tips and a book recommendation for worries. If you want any more information, if you're watching this on YouTube, head over to untappedbrilliance.com. I'll see you there.